Um, I am a theatre maker and I have been for the last 9 years. I've made work that's toured the UK and Ireland. I have an MA in dramaturgy and writing for performance from Goldsmiths University, and I run workshops in playwriting with a monthly writers group for emerging playwrights, and also at schools for A-level kids and GCSE students as well. So various different ages. So this particular workshop is going to be, it was aimed for all abilities. So some of you will be very used to some of the stuff that I'll probably, if you're a playwright yourself, you'll be very used to some of the stuff that I'm going to give as prompts and tasks. So just follow it and bear with the process and kind of go with it. For some of you, you'll be new to this. So if it will generally be something that I think will be simple to follow. And if anything's confusing, you can put it into the chat box. But this is something that I stole from the great Korean American playwright Young Jean Lee. I'm sure some of you know her. She basically says that if you think that it's a question that could be answered with "it doesn't matter," then it probably doesn't matter. And any queries that you have, you know, if I set a task, if I say, for example, write a paragraph on who you think the character's mother is, and you only write 2 sentences, if at the end of that task you say, oh, but I didn't get to write the full paragraph, it doesn't really matter. It's just to get us going, and these are all just prompts that you can pick up and leave as much as you like. So the aim of this workshop is to give you a first draft of a short play that can be produced from home. So obviously with all the theatres closing and everything, now is the time for us to start coming together at home, finding ways that we can get around it so that we actually have work to emerge out of this from in the end. You can keep it as a short if you like, or it could be something that you go on to develop later, or this could just be 2 hours for you to dedicate to yourself and your creative practice and just do something different, get some ideas on the page. So yes, the main note I have for the whole of this workshop is that I don't know how to say this without being crude, but be crap if you need to be. Just give yourself license in this workshop to write complete and utter rubbish. I mean, from the very beginning of this workshop, if anything at all feels sticky or like you can't think of anything, then your default position should be write the worst play anyone has ever written. There's no such thing as perfection, and good ideas only come from just working. Behind every great artist and playwright, there's, you know, hundreds of sketchbooks, hundreds of notebooks filled with rubbish ideas. We've got to work through that and be okay with that. And no one need read the thing that you write in this. Hopefully it will be something that eventually you are really proud of, but you know, it's not, there's no pressure to this. This is just 2 hours on Wednesday to give space to your creative practice and give some time to that. I want to just mention before we go into the workshop that I'm very grateful for it. I've been given a fee for the workshop, which I'm donating to Tallowa Theatre Company, who, if you don't know, are a Black-led British theatre company who invest in Black theatre makers. I'm doing that for 2 reasons. One, because obviously this is a theatre workshop, and theatre is one of the art forms that's been hit hardest by lockdown measures, because it obviously requires us to be in a space with other people. But also because theatre in the UK is dominated by white stories and voices, and we've all known that that's been the case. And in light of everything that's going on globally at the moment, led by the Black Lives Matter movement, it's become really clear that we can't ignore that anymore. Otherwise, we're complicit in the whitewashing of theatre. So I'm going to donate the fee there, and if you would like to, I am going to give you the link at the end to the link to donate to Tallowa. They're a registered charity, and obviously this is a free workshop for all, so don't feel any pressure if financially you can't afford it. But if you do feel like, actually, do you know what, that was a great workshop, I can give £5, £10, £20 to Tallowa, then that would be a really great thing to do. Okay. So I kind of like bulldozed across everything there. I hope that wasn't too 20 5 trillion miles per hour for everyone. Is everyone, can I get access to the chat? Let me just see if I can. Yeah, okay, people are commenting in the chat. Okay, yeah. Okay, great. So feel free to drop anything into the chat box, obviously, through this, if there is any, you need to ask a question or you didn't hear me say something or whatever happens. Okay, so let's get straight to it. This is your time. It's going to be quite fast paced because that's the way that I like to work, and I think sometimes we can give a lot of time to over reading things, over researching things, and it's kind of just an excuse of procrastinating. I think this is some time to actually just get down to it. So the first task is going to be something we're going to do for 5 minutes, and it's called free writing. Some of you will know this. It's something that was really posited by Julia Cameron's book, The Artist Way, which is a great handbook for creatives. And so basically what it is you just, the first thing that comes into your mind, whether it's what you had for breakfast this morning, what you can see around you, something that's really been dominating your thoughts at the moment, whatever it is, if you get stuck, just repeat the same sentence that you wrote before. So if it's, I woke up this morning and I had some toast, I can't think of anything, say I had some toast. The only thing that you can't do for this next 5 minutes is take your pen off the page. So does everyone have a pen and paper? Thumbs up if everyone's got pen and paper. All right. It's quite nice, everyone being together like this. Okay, okay, so 5 minutes, free writing. Really nothing more to it than that. Off you go. 1 minute left. Okay, and that's 5 minutes of free writing. Um, how did we all find that? I mean, it's one of those things that it's just a good, yeah, some of you. It's a really good thing to do, almost like a kind of stretch, just to get the mind connecting to the hand kind of freely and just to sort of unblock that passage. Julia Cameron says that she does this every morning for 10 minutes and nothing you, she also says that you should never read back over these things. This is just your, yeah, your morning stretch. It's not the main event. So we're going to go on from there, and I'm going to give you some prompts. You can, whenever I give a prompt, you can either choose to just carry on with what you were doing just before that. So you can continue free writing if you want, or take 1 minute to complete the sentence. I feel scared when. Go. Okay, and either continue on with that thought, or the second prompt is I feel safe when. And try to be as honest as you can, because no one else is going to read these. We're not going to read them out or anything. Sorry. I was on mute. Sorry. Okay, so yes, someone has just said that they missed the last instruction. Don't worry about that too much. These are just 1-minute prompts just to get us going with some initial thoughts, connecting the mind to the hand. So the next sentence to complete is I had a dream and. So just spend a minute completing that sentence as honestly as you can. Okay, that was 1 minute. And so the next sentence to finish for 1 complete minute is I want to write about. Okay, and the next prompt is I don't want to write about for 1 minute. Okay, so hopefully we're getting a little bit deeper, sort of like just cracking our brains open a bit as though we're just doing our first morning stretches. And so the next is a series of 4 questions. By the way, I'm going to put every section of this process into the chat box. There are 12. Oh, am I on mute again? No. There are 12 different sections to the process. So just so you know where we're at. So you know when we're at 6, okay, we're about halfway through, whatever. So this is section 1, all of these questions. So the next step is 4 little questions, continuing with this free writing thing. And that is, the first one is a question for you to answer. What makes something theatrical? Go. Okay. That's great. And remember, if you aren't finishing these, that's absolutely fine. They can just trail off. Or if you feel very impassioned that you really want to answer that thing that you were just writing, then just ignore the next prompt and continue on. Just go as you feel, wherever it sort of takes you. So the next prompt is a question to answer again, and it's what makes a character interesting? And this is 1 minute. Go. Okay. And just two more of these questions. The next one is what do you love about theatre? So this is quite a personal question about what do you personally love about the experience of going into a theatre, of writing a play, making theatre, your personal relationship to it. Okay, that was 1 minute. And either continue on from that or any of the others that you've enjoyed, or move on to the final one. What do you dislike about theatre? Okay, so minute up, everyone. Don't worry if you have joined late. That was basically just us getting warmed up and doing a bit of uh, just writing exercises just to get us in the zone. We haven't actually started any rigorous kind of process work yet. So yeah, so that was phase 1 out of 12, so you've completed the first level. Um, Congratulations. And so now we're going to move into phase 2. So that was kind of us getting warmed up and getting in the mind zone, kind of thinking about theatre, thinking about the kind of work that kind of stepping in that direction. So now phase 2 is going to be, this is one of my favorite parts of the process, really, because it's really us exploring uh, stuff that excites us and stuff that we're passionate about, which is going to be the backdrop, the emotional backdrop to whatever you write. So the next task is take 3 minutes to write a list of things that you're passionate about. These are things that you care about from childhood to now, things that excite you, inspire you, make you happy, terrify you, anything that you're passionate about. In 3 minutes, sorry, I'm just reading the chat box. Yeah, in 3 minutes, just get that list down. I want to add these can be big theoretical conceptual things like equality, or these can be tiny specific things like, I don't know, your childhood puppet that you used to love, whatever. Okay, great. So you should have a list of things now that you're passionate about. So if you just take 45 seconds max, just circle the top 5 things. So the 5 things there that you find are the most important to you. Okay, just 10 more seconds. If you can't pick 5 and you've only got 3, if you can only pick 7, whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, and of those top 5 things, top 3 things, 7 things, whatever you picked, pick one. Pick one thing. I'll give you like 20 seconds to do this. Don't dwell too much. Kind of go on instinct if you can. Okay. So that was phase 2, creating your emotional backdrop for your piece that you're going to create. And now we're going to think about what kind of work we want to create in terms of genre, in terms of audience. And so the next phase is called Dream Audience Member. And the first step of it is just to write down 3 people that you'd love to be in the audience of your piece. And this could be a theatre person, like a critic, or this could be someone that you know personally, like your mom or your sister or whoever. So 3 people that you'd love to come and watch your piece and love your piece. I know we don't know what it is yet, but theoretically, the dream. Someone just asked me if they have to be alive. They can be anyone ever that's ever existed. Okay. So don't worry if you only got one person down or if you couldn't narrow down the top 5, that's fine. Of those people, pick one. Pick one of those people and write as if you were them a tweet that they might post after seeing your piece, your work, giving it a 5-star review. So this will just be, I've said 3 minutes, but I think we could do this in 2 minutes. Just write down, are they going to say a hilarious work using, puppetry and, try and kind of pin down what you think you'd want your favorite person to say about your favorite play, about your work. Okay. I see that new people have joined. So we were just writing out what our dream audience member would say about our piece if they were giving it a 5-star review. So we'll just move on to the next part though. Just jump in. If you just come to it now, you're at a great time because you can we're just about to get down to the nitty-gritty of what our piece will entail. So now that we've kind of loosened up, we've kind of done some soul searching, kind of looking into ourselves, thinking about what we think is important in terms of theatre and what we kind of want to write about, the kind of direction we want to go in, and also a little bit about genre and how we want it to end up and be received. Now we can move into some more of the nitty gritty stuff. So the next phase, and this is your phase 4 out of 12. So we're a third of the way through, quarter of the way, I don't know, we're a third of the way through the process. So this is right. So I want you to try and write a list down now, another list of potential home setups for taping. So this could be stuff that kind of reflect some of the stuff that you said you're passionate about. If you're very passionate about politicians telling the truth, perhaps your home setup could be a hidden camera or a conversation over Zoom between two politicians, that kind of thing. So you can make it something that you can imagine of reflecting the thing that you're passionate about, or just get some ideas down, just so they're on the page. In fact, I might even suggest that might kind of free you up a bit, and we can think about that later. So you can either use the domestic space or manipulate it. So what I mean by that is that it could either be, for using the space would be a YouTuber in their bedroom giving a chat, hi guys, giving a chat online, or making a video that goes wrong, or manipulating the fact that someone's being filmed in the domestic space. So that might be a Big Brother diary room situation where they're saying, I'm in lockdown, let me out of here. Which I'm sure some people feel, but you know, we get through it. So some examples might be outside someone's front door trying to get in, firing someone over Zoom, an online dating tape, someone's trapped in a wardrobe and they're trying to FaceTime their wife to say, come and let me out of here. Blair Witch Project. So there are lots of different things that lots of different ways we can use the domestic space as a setup and use kind of filming or whatever so that we can get some ideas off the ground, at least for the meantime while we're not able to be in the room with other people. So yes, kind of maybe over-explained that, but so yeah, a list of setups, potential setups for home filming that you do in the domestic space, which can either manipulate or utilize the fact that you're there. Does that make sense, everyone? Is that okay? Yeah. Okay. So shall we say 3 minutes? I want to reiterate my note of just be as rubbish as you need to be. Just these aren't going to be ideas that you necessarily use, so just get them out. Anything that comes to mind. Okay. So did most people get at least one or two ideas down there? Yeah, good, good, good. Great. So just take 10 seconds now, fast as you can, to pick two of those ideas, two of those setups, your two favorite kind of ideas that kind of give you the most excitement. Actually, that could go somewhere. Okay. And just label one of those setups, option 1, and label the other setup, option 2. And make that quite clear on your page because you'll be coming back to these two options over the process. Okay, so anyone who hasn't got their option 1 or option 2 for whatever reason, I've put in the chat box some examples that I've just come up with, and if you feel like you haven't got two, just go into those examples and take your favorite of those, just so you have something to work with in this workshop. Okay, so take option 1, just leave option 2 behind you for a little bit. Whatever option 1 is, take it and consider one person, one character for this setup. And we're just going to investigate who that person is, who this character is in this setup that you've got. If it's a hidden camera, then who's the person being secretly filmed? If it's a politician, if it's the man in the cupboard with his FaceTiming his wife to get out, then who's the husband, who's the wife? Pick one of those characters. And I'm going to give you some quick fire questions to build this character in our minds, in our mind's eye. Okay, so the quick fire questions are that there's only going to be about, I know I really have a tendency to kind of like speak bulldozer through this, but I think that it means that we don't overcomplicate, overthink, overanalyze it. We just go for it. Kind of instinctually, which I think, and also we've been sitting around a lot. Well, I know a lot of people have, so it's good to just energize ourselves a bit and get thinking freely. So quick fire questions, 10 seconds each. Number 1, name. What's this character called in setup option number 1? I'm really bad for overthinking names. I spend so long each time. It's quite an important decision, I guess. Okay, so we've got their name. Moving on to their gender identity. Male, female, non-binary, other. Okay. Their age. How old is this person specifically? Try and be as specific, not around 40, 41 or 39, however old they are. What is this person in setup option 1? What's their occupation, if any? If they're a cat, then I guess they're, I don't know, home entertainment system. I don't know what they're so their occupation. Again, if I move on and then you think, oh, I didn't get to, doesn't matter, just let's move on to the next one. Sometimes we don't know these things about our characters until a lot later on. Where are they from? What are their hobbies and passions? Again, this can be something specific or this can be something broad and general, or you might not know yet, and that's fine. Okay. What political party, if any, do they support in a general election? What hairstyle do they wear generally? Next, what's their favourite type of music, if any? They might be joyless. Okay, moving along, doesn't matter if you got there. If you did, congratulations. Where did they live? And this can be, actually, this would be good if this was specific. So not just London, where in London, in a house, in a flat. And no, Yoma, it's not crap that your character is a lot like you. I often write characters a lot like myself as well. I think that we often write from experience, so that makes perfect sense. Um, uh, and so the next prompt is who do they live with? And this needn't be human. And if anyone, they might live alone. If they live with anyone, if you've said that they live with anyone, do they like them? This can be a yes or no answer, I guess. Or maybe it's sort of. What celebrity do they look up to most? In a burning house fire, what is one possession that your character would save? Okay, and now bringing it back down into bringing this character back down and grounding them into your setup. Why are they being filmed, or why are they in this setup that you've created? Why are they there? How do they feel about being filmed? Are they instigating the filming? Are they unaware? Is it against their will? How do they feel about it? Okay. And now these are the two biggest questions to answer at this stage. What do they want from this scenario? That's number one. What does your character want from this setup? Why are they there and what do they want from it? It can help to write a sentence here to keep it concise. Character's name, wants, and just explicitly, what is it? Okay, the next biggest question is, what do they need from this scenario? Often it can be different. Maybe it is the same of what they want, but often it can be different. Do they want attention, but they need love? There are distinctions to be made. Okay. So we have our option one set up, we have our character, and now we're going to place the character into the setup and get some writing done. So are we all comfortable and aware with the concept of a monologue? I'm not sure what level everyone's at the moment, just like we can all nod if we're all aware. Great, great, great. So a bit of direct address text from the character straight to the audience. So if we could just take 5 minutes to write a mini monologue, as much as you can or cannot do. So if you get out a sentence, go back to the free writing and just sort of stream of consciousness it for a while. We're not going to read these out at the end or anything like that. This is just for you. So write a monologue for your character in setup option number one. And yeah, 5 minutes. And remember, this can be crap. It doesn't matter. Okay, how have we all got on? I'll give another sort of 20, 30 seconds for you to round up any thoughts, ideas you got down and you'd like to just sort of complete. Okay. So obviously writing a monologue and getting that character voice just out there after doing a bit of character work, it can be a really freeing thing. It can be something that we actually find is quite, we get quite blocked by, but don't worry, that's just one method into a play. That's just one kind of avenue to get there. If that avenue doesn't work, we're going to try another one now. And I know sometimes it can be kind of a confronting thing to do, depending on what kind of piece you've chosen to write. So just bear in mind that if any time, I won't be offended if you need to go and take a glass of water or do whatever it is you need to go and do. We will be having a break soon, I promise. We've got 2 more tasks to do, and then we'll have a break and then recuperate. So the next, so label this monologue development idea 1. Just as you did with the options, this is DI1, if you like, which would be particularly apt if anyone did any detective stories as their monologue. So, okay, so the next step is to go back to, do you remember I said one setup is option 2? You had option 1 and option 2. That setup was option 1. Go back through your notes and just find option 2 again, whatever that setup was. So you remember you had 2 favorites. Okay, so just put option 1 development idea now 1 just to the side, and go right back to that other setup that doesn't have any characters in it yet necessarily. So in this setup, consider 2 different characters that could be in this situation, and label them person 1 and person 2. So if this is the husband who's trapped in the cupboard trying to get his wife on FaceTime, the 2 characters are the husband and wife, or the 2 characters are the husband and the son who's taking the keys for the cupboard. 2 characters in that scenario that you would like to focus on. And yeah, label them person 1 and person 2. So some more quick fire questions for those 2 are, what are their names, person 1 and 2? What is their relationship to one another? Colleagues, sisters, sworn enemies? Is it a good relationship? And why? Why is it either not good or good? What are they wearing in this setup? Again, I think we can try and be specific with this. What colour's the suit? or the gown, or the pajamas. Okay, and where are they both from? Is it the same place or a different place? And be specific. Person 1 is from such and such. Person 2 is from such and such. And it can be, if it's Birmingham, where in Birmingham? What kind of a place? Okay, what does person 1 think of person 2? Honestly. Okay, and what does person 2 think of person 1? Again, if you haven't finished something, it really doesn't matter. We'll just move on. And you can always come back and answer these questions later if you feel it will help. Okay, and the biggest questions, if you've done any other kind of playwriting courses, or you're a playwright yourself, or you've read any books, you'll know that the wants needs kind of stuff comes up pretty much every time. So, what does person 1 want from this situation? What does person 1 need from this situation? Okay, what does person 2 want from this situation? And does it think about, is it conflicting with what person 1 wants? Do they want the same thing? Do they want the same thing but for different reasons? Because that's going to be where the drama is. Okay, and what does person 2 need from this situation? Okay, So the final thing to do before we go for a 5-minute break is to take these two characters, take option number 2 setup, place them in it, and write some dialogue between these two characters, starting from the top, and taking 7 minutes. Remember, this can be rubbish. This isn't going to be read by anybody. This is just for you to get your ideas out. No pressure. Yeah, 7 minutes of dialogue. And if it helps, go back to that first list of things that you were passionate about and just remind yourself kind of what's informing emotionally this writing, perhaps. Or if you strayed away from those, go back to those earlier questions. Why are you making theatre? What does your critic say about your work that they love about it? Remember to inject it with all that stuff if you get stuck. So yeah, I'll stop talking for once in my life. 7 minutes. that was 7 minutes of writing some dialogue. We'll take a break now for 5 minutes, but thanks so much for going along with us there, with me there, everyone. That was so great, and you've just literally dedicated an hour and 20 minutes to very rigorous, fast-paced playwriting. Yeah, take 5, do what you need to do, go to the toilet, have a drink of water, a glass of wine, whatever it is you need to do, and we'll be back in 5 minutes. How are we all doing? Welcome back, everyone. I'll give another sort of like 30 seconds for anyone else to jump back in if they need to. All right, so hope you had a good break, and are ready to do a bit more. I know that, as I said, I know that I move quite quickly, and you've all been terrific just for following it this far. I mean, like, what else? There's a million other things we could be doing on a Wednesday afternoon, and it's great that you've given yourself time to do this. So, can everyone hear me? Am I all okay? Where are we at? Great. Amazing. So that was 8 tasks, or 8 kind of sections to break down the whole process. So there's just 9 more to go. That can either be a thing that relieves you because you think, oh, just 3 more steps, or it can be a thing that makes you go, there's only 3 more, they're going to be really big. But no, so this next step is step 9, and so what you should have now is you've got a monologue with one person in option number 1. You have your development idea 1, and you have your development idea 2, which was the dialogue in the setup that you made. So the obvious next step is to pick your favorite. So either development idea 1, your monologue, if you got a really good character voice, or the setup was just juicy and brilliant, or development idea 2 with the 2 different characters. Yeah, just select your favorite, and that one is the one that we're going to be working with for the next half an hour till the end of the session. So with the development idea that you have selected, I'm just going to ask you 3 big questions, and these are kind of development questions that are good to ask your script now, when it's just sort of like the little seed is turning into something. So question number 1 is, in this scenario, what is their biggest antagonist? So in this scenario, what are they coming up against the most? What's really holding them back? This can be something abstract, like their inability to lie. I suppose it's not abstract, but emotional, I guess. Or this can be something actual, like they can't use the telephone. Okay. And the next question is going back, which goes back to the earlier questions. In the piece that you've written, in this development idea that's your favourite, does the character or do the characters eventually get what they want at the beginning? Does it work out for them in this situation? Okay. And question 3, final question. How does it go right or wrong for them? So actually what happens? The how. How does it go wrong or right for them? Okay. Amazing. I can see some of you still writing, so I'll just give like 10 seconds just to like round off any thoughts that you've got going on. Okay, and so the next phase, phase 10 of the process, is go back to that list of people. Do you remember I got you to write a list of 3 people that you'd love to admire your piece and tweet about it? You made a tweet from one of those people. Select another person out of that group, and now about specifically development idea number 2 that you're working on, write out a tweet where they review it and give it 5 stars. So from their point of view, one of your favorite people is bigging up this idea. What are they saying about it? Okay, so you've just read the tweet of your dreams from the person you'd really love to love your work and they love it. And so we're starting to get an understanding now. Development idea number 1 or 2, whichever one you picked, is now has it's taken its form. We kind of are understanding where it might be going. We understand where the drama might be coming from, and we understand how we would want it to be received by an audience. So to move on, and this is, I find personally this the hardest part, which is why I'll give us like, I guess, 3 or 4 minutes to write out and just really go for this. And remember, it can be crap. A short synopsis of the entire thing. So from start to finish. So how does this end? Because a lot of times what can happen when we start writing a script is we have this amazing setup idea and we never actually can really get to that end. So now, if you can, just force yourself into an ending just for 3 or 4 minutes, and you can write multiple here. You can write, this happens. No, that's not right. Okay, so this happens. Just keep working this through. Where could this go? And constantly be reminding yourself of the question, um, remind yourself, do they get what they want in the end? If your answer is no, that might show, whichever way you want that to go might show you how this could work out. And remember, you can incorporate other characters, you can incorporate music, you can incorporate whatever you need to do to make it theatrical. Someone has asked, is this a synopsis of a scene or a play based off this setup? So this is a synopsis of that little bit that you've just written, either the monologue or the dialogue. How would you complete that if that was going to go from start to finish? So we're building a little short kind of script now with that initial bit of writing that you did. Where can you see it going, basically? Like, how could it conclude, kind of thing? I hope that makes sense. If anyone's got any more questions, yeah, just keep asking, because yeah. So 4 minutes to figure that out. And always remember, this can be crap. No one's going to share anything at the end. Okay. I hope that was okay for you. As I said, I know that bit can be the most tricky because you're almost sort of forcing yourself into an idea and you're thinking, oh, is this the right way to go with it? Just trust it. Let's try this way out. Let's just see if that goes anywhere. Often our instinct can tell us more than overthinking, over researching. I'm actually very guilty myself of really using research as a procrastination technique. I think, oh, I'm not going to do any writing today, but I'll read another paper on this, I'll read another book about this. And really, sometimes it's just about getting down to it. So, okay, the final part of the process, you've reached the final step, is without reading your first draft of this idea, just leaving that as it is, of that development idea that you chose, rewrite the play. So you might want to keep it exactly the same and just maybe push it further, or maybe just take it further to the next step. Or you might want to change the character voice a bit. You think, actually, do you know what? That wasn't funny enough, so I'm going to tweak that. Or scary enough, whatever. Just write it again. And we're going to take 10 minutes to do this, to just try and push through and just write it again to nearly get to that end of the first draft of this little short that you're writing. I have 5 different prompts that I'm gonna say throughout the 10 minutes. Every 2 minutes, I'm gonna give a new prompt. You can either choose to go, actually, that's interesting, I'm gonna take that and use in the drama, or you can say, no, I'm on a really good path here, I'm gonna completely ignore you. So 10 minutes, starting your development idea all over again with a fresh mind, or a mind that has at least worked harder on this idea. Yeah, 10 minutes, go. And I'll give the first prompt now. The character or characters enter differently. You can either choose to use that as something to kind of shake it up a bit, or you can ignore it. So 10 minutes, off you go. The next prompt you can use or ignore is someone else enters. The next prompt, which you can use or ignore, is it goes silent for longer than it should. And the final prompt you could use is someone tells a secret. And we have 1 more minute just to round that up. Okay. How are we all doing? Obviously, this can be something that you can continue now on into the evening if you've found some inspiration in your idea, or it can be, I'm sure some of you are pretty tired. I know I would be after 2 hours intensively working on some ideas. So I hope it's been fun for you all, and you've got some good ideas out of it. I mean, the best case scenarios of this is that you've hit on something really interesting to develop into a full length for stage or to workshop online. And the worst case scenario is that you've just spent 2 hours being creative and doing something potentially out of the ordinary, and also learning a creative process, this 12-step process that you can come back to at any point during, if you want to build any other kind of work. So remember that these are just little suggestions, and you can pick and choose and take them and use them. They're all there for you to use at your disposal. I have oh yes, someone just said I would love to be emailed a doc with these phrases to use in the future. Absolutely. So if everyone just gives me an email, my email is I'll write it down here. My email is rosatorr123@gmail.com. So you can send me an email, or you can follow me on Instagram, Rosa_Torr, and get in touch with me. And if you'd like, I have a PDF of this process that I've written up, the 12 steps with all the little questions, and pretty much everything I've said is in that doc. So if you would like it, yeah, send me an email and I'll get it across to you. And so, yes, I have 2 top tips moving forward. Number 1 is find a creative space to work. If you've been really stuck and this is why you've come to the workshop, allocate a space if you can, if you have it in your house, even if it's one side of the sofa, that is specifically and only for creating. That's where you get all your creating done. I think that really helps. That's your allocated space. And also find people around you. So we've got a lot of people in this workshop right now, other playwrights, people that we can talk to and connect with. As I said, if you send me an email if you'd like to get in touch, or if you've got an idea from this workshop that you want to discuss. As I said, I've got an MA in dramaturgy and I work as a dramaturg on plays as well. So I'm absolutely happy to help you or support you along any kind of process. Because a group is really, really, really important, I think, and just having other people to bounce ideas off of. So I hope, yeah, as I said, you found this workshop useful and it hasn't been too taxing. I also have a link. I don't know if anyone's on Playwrights UK Facebook group. They have a link with all these different opportunities that you can take part in as a playwright and send your writing off to. So if you've got a great idea during this process that you want to keep building and you want to have some kind of direction or a date, that's a great doc that I've just put in the chat, and I can email you, as I said, if you send me one with that. Also, yeah, just to reiterate, I said that I was donating my fee to Tallowa Theatre Company, who invest in Black British voices in theatre, actors, producers, writers, and theatre companies really need our support. So I've sent a link there as well, and you can go on their website, tallowa.com, if you want to donate to them, which could be really great, since if you've enjoyed this workshop, then that could be a great thing to do. Because it was free and all that. So yeah, you can contact me, email me, whatever. Stay safe, keep protesting, keep looking after your loved ones. Thank you so much for everyone, and really congratulate yourself for dedicating 2 hours of your day, yay, to creating. And yeah, you should feel really proud of yourselves. I think it's not easy to give yourself this time, and you've all done it and you've all worked through it. And so I congratulate you, I applaud you, and stay in touch. All right, thanks very much, everyone. Bye.